Blue September on JOE.ie, proudly sponsored by VHI Healthcare.
We're here with former Meath footballer Liam Hayes, helping us promote the Blue September campaign, which is to get men more aware about cancers and how to check themselves out. Liam, of course, you're a perfect person to speak to us about this because you yourself discovered you had cancer in 2010. Firstly, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Sean. I was diagnosed 3 years ago yesterday, so it's been an appropriate week. And no, time has flown. Been busy. Not too busy work-wise because you have to, your energies go and you go into sort of a downward spiral, but busy in terms of getting healthy and going to St James's and St Luke's every 3 months, and time has flown. The 3 years has really flown by. Typically they say that you've got to wait 5 years before you get the stamp on the side of your arse and you're declared into remission.
Exactly.
But no, I'm good. My energy's back and I'm back working hard and feel good, feel really good.
Brilliant. So tell us about the discovery of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, how it came about and what the reaction was like.
Well, mine was quite sudden. It wasn't something that I waited around a whole long period of time for, because a lump came up on my neck and I was shaving every morning, and obviously I was looking at it every day. It wasn't something like you know on the side of your your back or something. I mean, obviously Jim Stein's is a famous case, and Jim had ignored a lump on his back for so long. I think when a lump is on your neck and you have to look at it every single morning, it seems like it's there for a long time, and it seems to be getting bigger. So I think I waited maybe 6 weeks, a long time. And then I went and to my doctor, got it checked out. And typical male thing, I was sent into hospital very, very quickly, but I ended up in a breast clinic for my needle biopsy in St James's. So I was surrounded by 10 or 20 women of all ages, and but the nurse in charge hustled me through. Did a needle biopsy. It was confirmed that it was positive, and then I was brought into a variety of hospitals. I was in 4 hospitals within a week, and within 7 days I was ready to go into chemo. So it happened really fast at that stage. The system was brilliant, and in fact I didn't go into chemo for 2 weeks because I had things on and I had to delay it, but it went that fast, and suddenly you're sitting in a blue chair in St James's with loads of packages of poison all around you. You're wired up, and you're ready to go, and it goes at lightning speed. But the health service, when you've got a critical illness, was brilliant. The staff and the care and attention in St James's was unbelievable. So if you are getting ill in Ireland, a critical illness is it's not the worst way to be introduced to the health system.
And the speed of it, did that give you time to think about it, or was it only sort of afterwards that you had time to process it, or how was it mentally for you?
It was a bit of a roller coaster ride, but a very fast roller coaster ride. I mean, I didn't even when the needle biopsy was taken and looked positive, you still didn't think it was going to necessitate full treatment of chemotherapy and radiotherapy. I was 3 months of chemo in St James's and 1 month of radiotherapy in St Luke's, and so when I was called into my consultant surgeon. He was in the Hermitage Medical Clinic in Lucan, literally a mile down the road from me. I live in Lucan, and at that stage, I still wasn't believing really that I was going to be ill. But he called me up and he said, "Listen, do you want me to give you the news on the phone, or do you want to come down and see me?" So when someone puts it like that, it's not going to be good news. So I was surprised. He said, "Do you want to get it on the phone?" So I said, "No, I'll come down and see you." And so I was down sitting in front of him literally within 3 minutes.
Of course.
And my wife was shopping, and he gave me the news, and he was very good, very matter of fact, which I think is what you want in that situation. And he told me straight that it was an aggressive cancer. It was a high-grade lymphoma, and he said it could kill you in a year, or you could be better in a year. And he advised me that it was, in his estimation, it was a better cancer to get than low-grade, because low-grade lymphoma, you can have it for 10 or 20 years and have a low quality of life, whereas high grade, if you have it and they can treat it and you get back healthy, you can have a high quality, quality of life if you come through it. So he said he would prefer to get the bad news and get an aggressive cancer than a low grade cancer. So again, different interpretations, different views,
And so the treatment process, how bad was it, and how did you cope with all that in terms of work and life and family and all that sort of stuff?
It was a strange and very unexpected experience. I think low energy levels, when you are fit, and I played football for a long time, 15 years. I wasn't a sports mad then for the next 10 years, but I'm still relatively fit. You retain a lot of fitness. And but you're not prepared for the low energy levels. You're not prepared for your body collapsing, for your core literally disappearing. And I was on different cycles of chemotherapy. So the first cycle I was fine. I was warned that my energy levels would dip very, very low. And then I was warned that it would take something, it could take 18 months, it could take 2.5 years before you get your energy back. And again, like every male, you don't believe that it's going to happen. You think once you're through your treatment that you can bounce back, you can go running, you can drive yourself back to fitness. But that wasn't the case. And I found for nearly 2 years that I would slump in the middle of every day. So I'd get up, I'd be full of beans in the morning, I'd try to do my day's work. By 2 o'clock, I'd be heading back to bed. You'd be in bed for an hour and a half, and that ruined your day because you'd never get your day up and running again. Exactly. But you're like a human mobile phone. You have to charge yourself up in the middle of every day. And you don't get too much sympathy from people when you tell them you got to go to bed every day, that you have to stop working at lunchtime and go to bed. But it becomes so debilitating and frustrating. And I can understand how people could get depressed by something like that because it's the last place in the world you want to do is to lie down every day. But about 6 months ago, I found I stepped up to another level. Got some new medication. My thyroid was blasted to kingdom come by the treatment, so my thyroid gland was dead. Went on new medication for that, and that's made a big difference. And the last 6 months, touch wood, I've been really, really strong and full of energy.
So of course part of the process is that you have to go back and get checks every 3 months. How is that in terms of mentally? Is it hanging over you that this could be bad news again, or how does that work for you?
Oh, they like to keep you. I mean, you look forward to going back. I look forward to going back every 3 months because I want it confirmed that everything's good. And people, my wife, my children look at me and actually, funny enough, they say, listen, isn't it great that you're going in to get scanned and x-rayed and your blood's tested so often, because God forbid everybody else is out there thinking they're healthy, even if they don't feel healthy, still believing they should be healthy and not getting themselves checked. So I think for those years, you're happy to go into hospital. I like going back to James's, and I like going back to go back to St. Luke's and St. James's in turn every 3 months. So both places seem strange. I don't want to go back to them full time, but I have fond memories of both places.
Now you described the process as it changed how you thought about a lot of aspects of your life. Can you explain a bit more about that to us?
Well, I think you go through different phases. First of all, you enter. I think when you get diagnosed, you enter a point where you go into a calmness, and you go into a great place where you're very ill. You think you could die, but you go into a place where all your other worries go away. You can become very centered, very calm, composed. I had that experience for a number of months, and then you go through different emotions after that. I was lucky in that my cancer, it wasn't terminal. Obviously, I was told when I was diagnosed there was 85% chance. First I was told it would be 50, and then I was told it would be 85% chance of recovery. So I knew there was a chance, but it's a different story for people with cancers when they get the very bad news and they're told that there's nothing we can do. And those people are really fighting just for a period of time and seeking to extend their life for a year or 3 years. So I wouldn't compare my experience with people who have had, people like Jim Steins who have been in that situation. But for myself, a lot of people like me, it's just a roller coaster of emotions, and you find it hard to get your life back together again because you become very unsettled in your own head. And what illness does is it takes you out of the mainstream. Getting ill during a recession is again a good time to get ill because you want to hide from a recession. And there's so many bad things happen work-wise for me that they all just disappeared when I got ill. But then when you get back fully healthy again, you've got to face up to the real world.
The world is still there.
And the world is still there, and the recession is still there, and it's a whole different fight.
But you went so public with your cancer. You spoke about it very openly and very well. That I guess a lot of people, then a lot of members of the public, have been in contact with you through all forums, I understand, and sort of asked your advice. How has that been, and what do you do in those situations? It's
strange. You've got to be careful. A lot of people come up to me. My situation was strange in that I was due to go on the Late Late Show to promote my book, Out of Our Skins, that was being republished, reprinted. And I was due to go on the show and was booked like 5-6 weeks in advance, and then I got ill, and I told the researchers, my situation. They wanted me to talk about my cancer, so I agreed to do that. So mine was a situation where I couldn't go on the Late Late Show and not mention the cancer, and then people find out, in other ways. So I said, listen, I'll go for it. So a lot of people knew, so a lot of people come up to me, a lot of people come up to me in supermarkets, on the street, I found out that so many people have cancer and so many people have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in particular, that it's amazing. I think that's good in that people do feel happy and they do feel that they can talk to me. A lot of emails, a lot of people looking for a little bit of help. But again, you've got to be careful because you never know anyone's situation.
If you had any advice for lads out there who are a little bit concerned or a little worried, what would it be?
Well, it's the usual advice. In one respect, it's to get it checked, but also it's advice that you repeatedly doubt that you're ill. We all think we're bulletproof. And for me, when I got diagnosed, I was doubtful. But right up to the time when I was about to get my chemo, I was still doubtful that I deserved to get chemo or needed chemo. So you always check. You're always doubting that that you are actually going to be very ill. But it's the same thing. It's go and look after yourself. For me, even having come through cancer. And the whole experience, even now, if I get a pain in my foot or I get a pain somewhere else, I'm wishing it away. And while I do attend to all my medical appointments for my lymphoma, any other pains or aches, I am sending away as fast as possible and not looking to go back to the doctor. So, and again, that's foolish because you hear so many tragic stories of people getting multiple illnesses that, just because you get one doesn't mean that you're not, something else isn't going to happen. So, it's just to be aware and really take time out of your life and understand that everyone gets ill. And from my point of view, being in James's, as I said a moment ago, you see young adults. I think it's if you go to children's hospitals, you see little kids, and so everyone gets ill. So just because you're a strong male and full of testosterone doesn't mean that you're not going to go the same way.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect message. Liam, thanks a million for your time.
You're very welcome. Pleasure.
Blue September on JOE.ie, proudly sponsored by VHI Healthcare.